Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In this song, Srila Narottama Dasa Thakura expresses his intense feelings of separation from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates who had just left this world just prior to this. And at least within Goya Mat and ISKCON, this is a standard prayer or standard kirtan sung on the disappearance days of acaryas. So we're singing it on the disappearance day of Narottama Das himself, who composed this song, but as is often the case, and Krishna willing, we'll sing a little later, Ebaro Karuna Karo Vaishnava Goshai, a song by Narottama Das in praise of the great Vaishnava Paramahamsa. So this song is composed by him in praise of the great Vaishnava, and it's absolutely applicable to sing considering him as the great Vaishnava who is the object of our prayer. So this disappearance song, although it was composed by Narottama in his own separation from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the previous and his personal associates, this is quite appropriate to sing for us, by us, in relation to Srila Narottama Das. This song, as many, if not most, of Narottama's songs are fully imbued with the feeling, this karunya, this feeling is pathetic. It's sometimes translated as pathos. The feeling of an intense sadness for circumstances that are beyond one's control, but it's not. It's a sadness of love also. It's not that someone removed my sense gratification, therefore I'm sad, but it's a sadness that the Lord and his devotees, they appear to be subject to unwelcome circumstances. Sometimes the devotee feels sadness because thinking of the Lord and the unpleasant circumstances he's in. Of course, the Supreme Lord is always Satmai, eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. His pastimes are Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. They're fully blissful and spiritual. But one of the aspects of spiritual bliss is this karunya, this feeling of sadness. So an example of that, there are so many of course, is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while traveling in South India, came across one Brahmana who was a great devotee of Lord Rama, who was fasting, not gathering items to cook and not cooking, because he thought that Sita has been kidnapped by Ravana. So in such a circumstance, how can anyone do anything? They don't want to collect food, don't want to cook, don't want to eat. He's feeling totally devastated. So that's an example of this feeling of pathos in connection with the devotee considering the Supreme Lord and the unhappiness of the Supreme Lord. The unhappiness of the Supreme Lord, which is of course full happiness. This discussion is not for those who are on the ABC of spiritual, of God consciousness. Give us this day our daily bread. They won't understand this. So this song, Narottama Das, is expressing his feeling of separation, which from his many songs we find it surcharges his whole being. There's a painting of him, of the Prabhu Troy, the three Prabhus, the three devotees, outstanding devotees who are studied under Jiva Goswami. That's Srinivas, Shyamananda, Narottama. So we can see that especially Narottama Das, his whole, just by seeing that figure, his whole being is overcome with strong feelings of separation, which burned him day and night. That, as expressed by him in his song Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, which is the quintessence of all of the Gauriya Vaishnava's aspirations. What is that? Tu adarshane ahi Dibanishi hiya. No, I'm getting mixed up there. But anyway, he's saying that I'm bitten by the snake of not seeing you. I'm simply burning day and night. So these are his feelings, very intense feelings of separation. At least within Gauriya Math and ISKCON, again, we for the kirtans which we sing, although there are hundreds of Gauriya Padakartas, those who have written songs in Bengali, mostly in Bengali, Maithili, other languages. We mostly sing the songs of Narottama Das and Bhaktivedanta Thakur. And Bhaktivedanta Thakur's songs are very similar to those of Narottama Das in many ways, in as much as they're in simple but very feelingful Bengali that everyone can understand. But with Bhaktivinoda we find his songs, they're either expressing great distress, spiritually blissful distress, or expressing great happiness. But with Narottama Das, although there is happiness also, some expressions of happiness, but it's mostly this feeling of deep distress and separation from the Supreme Lord, as he expresses in one song that he feels so unfortunate because he was born just too late. He couldn't directly see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and most of his associates had passed away just before or just around the time when Narottama appeared in this world. But he and Srinivasa and Shyamananda, his two godbrothers, they're all initiated by different gurus, but they lived as brothers under Jiva Goswami studying. So Narottama Das became the next, he spread authentic Krishna consciousness all over Bengal in the next generation after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That you'll hear this afternoon, his pastimes will be briefly recounted. I've asked Giridhari Gopinath Prabhu to do that. How Nityananda Prabhu deposited prem, love of Krishna, for Narottama to collect. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prem, pure love of Godhead, that was fully imparted to Narottama Das, and he imparted that to many others. I said he spread Krishna consciousness all over Bengal. These children should be taken out Or the parents should take children who are running around, take them out. So Narottama Das did that not by traveling widely, but by sitting in one place. And like the sun, he radiated love of Krishna. But not just radiated, he preached also and got into, created enemies by preaching pure Krishna consciousness. So this particular song, he is expressing his separation from from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Vaishnavas. So this must have been composed late. Oh, one thing I should say before I go into this, just briefly giving an introduction to Narottama Das, that Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, although he was said to be illiterate, maybe he couldn't write, but it seems that he could read because he kept with him always printed copies of the two song collections of Narottama Das, Prema Bhakti Chandrika and Prarthana. This Prema Bhakti Chandrika, the first song of that we sing every day, we just sang, that begins with the words Sri Guru Charana Padma. Now there may have been other songs composed by him, but these two are accepted as definitely being composed by him. I have a book which is published by the Calcutta University scholar I don't know, maybe 40 years ago, called Sri Narottama Das Charitra Rachanabali, which means the life and compositions of Narottama Das. So there are many, many, many songs in there, but as the compiler of this book notes, many of them, they may be ascribed to him, but not actually by him. But for sure, Prem Bhakti Chandrika and Prarthana are composed by him. So Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj is recorded as once when he was asked how to get prema, he said, well, that's very easy. You can buy for 2 annas in Navadip Bazaar. 2 annas. At that time there was 1 rupee, 16 annas. That was the monetary system. So you can buy prem for 2 annas in Navadip Bazaar. It seems bizarre to say such a thing. But then he explained that you can get these printed copies of Prarthana and Prem Bhakti Chandrika. So the implication is that you will get prem, Krishna prem, love of Krishna, by studying these songs, by reading, by reciting. And they have been very influential for generations. The Narottama Das, as all acharyas, they leave this world, but they stay also. There's a Bhagavatam verse in that regard, that the acharyas, they leave, but they stay in the form of their instructions. And Narottama Das's songs, they give all the essence of Krishna conscious instruction in very simple and relishable Bengali. Of course, Narottama Das studied under Jiva Goswami, so it's presumed that a great student of a great master is also himself, as Jiva Goswami, who is the great master of Gauriya Vaishnava philosophy and compiled, among other works, the Shat Shandarbha, the 6 canonical essays which define the teachings of the Gauriya Sampradaya. So Narottama Das was clearly a great Sanskrit scholar, but he wrote in Bengali for the benefit of the people among whom he lived and among whom he ministered. So those songs have been they're widely known. Some of them in particular have been widely known and widely sung throughout Bengal since that time. So we're talking about more than 400 years now. I have one memory from, this must be from, I suppose, sometime in the 1980s. I'd been at one festival, Mela, in Bangladesh, Hindu Mela, and that was the Chandranath Mela. That's at one of the places where the Kali Shakti Pitams, one of them is in Bangladesh. That means the 64, I believe it is, places where Kali's body broke up into 64 pieces after being shattered by Lord Shiva, and each of those places is a place of worship of her. There's here in Andhra Pradesh also there is that Kalahasti is one. They're often at famous Shiva places anyway, the Amaravati, and anyway, that's another topic. Sri Shailam is one also. So once a year, so many Hindus, they go and they go there, they walk up the hill to the, it's actually Chandranath, it's actually a Shiva temple, but anyway, it was a big Hindu festival, and we went there for selling our books, and then the day after it was over, most people had left, but I just saw him